In this video, we're going to do a true speed modeling process for an MR2 Over Fender in Fusion 360. Hey everyone, this is Matt with Learn Everything About Design, and in this video, since we've already gone through the process and we've taken several hours to walk through all the design decisions to make an Over Fender in Fusion 360, I thought it was important for me to go back and just simply model it at normal speed without talking through the process, just so that we can get a good idea or an understanding of how long it actually takes to get a design like this. So I'm not sure at this point if I'm going to speed the video up or if I'm just going to play it at true speed. But I think this will give me opportunity to talk about some of the highlights, some of the big points, but I won't be doing that on the video itself. I'll just be modeling it. So now that we're close to a minute, let's go ahead and dive in. So here is the finished product, and I'll put that in air quotes. But this was roughly about an hour of modeling. All right, so obviously the rough shape came in pretty quickly, and then I started to add a lot of detail. Now this one is obviously a bit more sort of detailed. There's some harder edges than the one that we did together over the several hour video, but I followed the same exact process. I removed edges, I added additional edges, and really the main thing that I did was I tried to get some harder lines, so sort of like a double flare in here. And then I added some additional lines up here to get sort of that extra double flare as well. And obviously I could spend more time and harden up these lines, but really what I was looking for was to sort of get this, this traditional flare feature and then blend it into some other details like this intake scoop, which I wanted to have some harder lines. And when I'm looking at a design like this, what I'm really looking for is continuity of line. So this line right here, if we carry it through, it picks up on this edge and it goes over the fender. This one here carries through and it sort of terminates into this corner, but visually we can actually see, it would continue to carry up and over the flare. And this one here I added, it sort of went up and mimicked the scoop, which also carries back over to the door line. But then again, you can sort of visually follow this and it points up to this arc. And then this one here, I carried this into the wheel well to sort of give a position back here, but then I also carried it up to get that flare. And on the back, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I thought about putting some arrow fins and things in this area, but just to give it a bit of a different shape. So you can see that, again, the process is exactly the same. It just kind of comes back to the level of detail that you want. If we take a look at this in box display, you can see that I've got a grouping of edges here and they sort of flare out here. And I did the same thing. I sort of built in the flare and then it sort of follows this line and that sort of gives us that flare out. And I could spend, again, more time in restructuring this, but the benefits of doing that, adding all those extra little details, honestly, it could be an entire another hour just doing the small details on this. And obviously I didn't push it back to the body. It's pretty close as it is. I mean, I could obviously attach it to the body at the front and tweak this, but that gives us an idea of what this thing looks like. So I will also put this in the description of the video so you can download and play with it and take a look at the lines. But the main takeaway is that you really want to focus on a edge flow and edge control. You also want to make sure that you only have the level of control, the number of edges that you actually need, and only add them in when you need them. So for example, I needed to do this sort of little lip down here, so I had to add some additional detail to get that to work out. Otherwise, I would not need this edge at all. I could just simply get rid of it. But add that detail where you need it. Gradually flare it out when you want these edges to sort of soften or tighten up. And then also, in some cases, you just will end up having to have a triangle or a five-sided face. It's the nature of trying to change the direction of some of these lines. But if you're careful with where you place them and you make sure that they're on big enough faces where it's not competing with the surrounding geometry, then you can get a pretty good result. So at this stage, again, all of the detail in and how to do this is in the longer series. This one is obviously a little bit different, but all the details are in that video. So if you want to learn, you can go ahead at the end of this video. You can click on the playlist and you can go to those videos and you can learn how to do that for yourself. This, I just wanted to sort of, give the idea of how long it actually would take if I sat down and I tried to do this. So I'm going to speed this video up, but it was probably 1 hour, about 55 minutes just to sit down and model this from start to finish. And obviously it looks different than the last one that we did because I didn't follow the same plan. I had an idea, I had an understanding of what I wanted it to look like, but obviously they are different. If we put them next to each other, they're different shapes. Obviously, this one has more hard edges, more details. This is more of a little bit more of a modern look, where we had a couple of those edges and those details in the one we did in the videos, but I really kept it a lot softer. I wanted it to be clean lines because the car didn't really have a ton of hard lines. A lot of the body kits smooth them out, but this was, more aggressive in what I wanted to go for. So there you go. If you have any questions, obviously leave them in the video. You can also email me, support@caducator.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.